are tuned in to the Tree Show with the L Boogie Show, baby. This LC right here. Tell me about yourself.
What's up with it? You know, I'm LC, Big Boogie over here. So we finna get this, finna get it cracking, finna give y'all some knowledge and give y'all some real life stuff. What we go through, we gonna share it with y'all. And we just gonna have a nice open conversation.
Yeah, most definitely. See, this is something that I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for a co-host. I've been waiting for somebody that's definitely opposite of me. I feel that me and Elsie are definitely opposite from each other. We've been knowing each other for what, about 15, 16?
Yeah.
Maybe I know more than 10 years.
Yeah,
we've been knowing each other more than 10 years. Yeah. So we definitely come similar backgrounds, but we definitely, both of us chose different routes. But that never stopped us from being friends. I know at times when I was down on my ass, I know I could call LC and I know LC will be there, especially with what we're about to talk about right now. But first things first, I need you to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. So every single time we drop, you'll be notified first and you'll be able to look at the videos. So today we're going to talk about expungements. We're going to talk about backgrounds, we're going to talk about history, we're going to talk about all that. I just recently got my record expunged. I have not been in trouble in 11 years. I have not committed a crime in 11 years. Coming out of high school, really starting off, honestly, as a juvenile, I always get in trouble and stuff like that. But you know what they say, that if your offense is not an adult necessary, it doesn't get transferred over to the adult court system. So I was 18 when I got my first felony. My birthday is July 31st. I got my first felony when I got my first felony August the 3rd or 4th, my first time getting locked up. So it's something, a big accomplishment to me of getting my record expunged. An average expungement takes approximately about 4 to 6 months. My expungement was definitely taking very less time than that. My expungement took like 2 to 3 months. Reason why it takes 4 to 6 months is because they have to reach out to so many upper people to make sure that it's okay. But my expungement, it happened like that, and the person who actually processed my expungement told me the reason why my expungement went through so quick is because I haven't been in no trouble in so long, and I have so much positive stuff that I have going on, and that makes me feel good because I just want to be able to start over. So when my expungement came through, I ain't gonna lie, I really started crying because I felt like it was a fresh start for me, because don't nobody really know what I had to climb, the mountains I had to climb, the rivers that I had to cross to be able to get to where I'm at today. But I'm interested, enough about me, I'm interested to see. So I know I got felonies and misdemeanors, growing up. What made you choose a different route? What made you be different?
So I can't say that I chose a completely different route, because I definitely have been in trouble in my life. But the thing is, growing up really by myself, or as I have a brother, but mostly as an only child, I had time to think, and a lot of things scared me as a child. So when I saw that, coming in a system where I had uncles or friends that were locked up at a young age and throwing their life away, and then they get out and it's just so many complications, just so much trouble. I put myself in that position, that that could be me, and then how would my life be? What I was seeing from my peers or just people around in my neighborhood is just not something that I wanted to be. I couldn't picture myself in that lifestyle, and I know in order to get myself out of that lifestyle, I had to move different. And it takes a lot of maturity, and it takes a lot of understanding, because when we're young, we are easily influenced on just trying to fit in. And it takes, when you're a child that has not fit in, or you realize that you have a different mindset, or you're just alone all the time. I don't have girl cousins, I have boy cousins. They were younger than me, so I was alone a lot. you get a lot more time to think about how you want your future to be or what you envision. I was in middle school and I was seeing people, girls pregnant and stuff. And that's like, the shit scared me. When I'm seeing, people my age locked up and or having to be in systems, like that shit scared me. So it's just like, I just didn't want that for myself. And at that time, like, I knew, like, this is not the path that I need to take. Like, it has to be, it's more than this, than what I'm seeing in my own neighborhood with my own friends and family.
See, that's crazy because I mean, like I said, we basically grew up in the same neighborhood, the same environment. So it's like, I seen the same thing, but instead of me gravitating to it negatively, I start running towards it, because that's all I really knew. That's all I thought that, life was about. I grew up, one of the times that I grew up, during the time when I grew up, I was about like 10 or maybe 11 years old. I remember my first time really encountering and realizing what death was. Like, I've seen death at a young age, but I really could understand what taking somebody's life really was. Like, I knew what it was to take somebody's life. So it's like, not that I took somebody's life, I'm saying that I really understood what taking somebody's life really meant.
Yeah.
So it's like, I grew up, the no snitching code. I grew up with, that's how I was raised, mind your business, stay out of grown folks' business. And I guess I took that to an extreme in some type of way. But, my first time ever carrying a gun, I was like 12, 13 years old. And my mother actually found, my weapon, and she hid it from my stepfather. She hid it from everyone, and I feel that, I'm not blaming my mother. I think I had a good mother growing up. I think that if my mother would have really handled that the way that she should have handled it, by like correcting me and letting me know like what a gun could really do, I don't think that I would have finished on with my past.
And that's important, because I've always said, like, if people will think you're crazy, people will think I'm crazy for saying this, but it's like, when kids are legally able to go to gun ranges, and I think some gun ranges allow kids as young as 7 to start at the gun range. I said I would be that parent that's taking my kid to a gun range, because of the simple fact, like, I like guns, I have guns. If I'm going to have a child around, the gun, first of all, you have to be safe when you have the gun around children, first and foremost. But these kids, they don't know how to handle guns because they think they're toys. They sit on games. We buy them all these toy guns. So when they come in contact with a real gun and they're playing with it like a toy, stuff happens. And it's just like, if you could prepare your kid, if I could tell my kid at a young age to get them to understand, hey, like, this is a gun, this is what it's used for, this is how you use it properly, they won't be so curious about wanting to play with guns, or when they see a gun, they'll know exactly what to do.
I get exactly what you're saying, but when I was growing up, my stepfather didn't allow us to play with guns. He didn't believe in playing with toy guns. He didn't believe in none of that. Right. So we weren't allowed to play with guns. We weren't allowed to. I didn't understand it then, but, as an adult now, I definitely understand a lot of the parenting that, he tried to put onto me and my siblings. Mm-hmm. But, at a young age, you're like, whatever, you don't know what you're talking about. This is a different era, because I hear it now from my boys, like, you old, like, you don't know what's really going on, like, y'all didn't go through what we go through, y'all don't know. And it's really is more of, the more you tell a child not to do something, I've learned they're gonna do it. So
what the courts do, they're gonna give you felony charges on all this shit. We be so scared that we gonna be sitting up in somebody's prison for a long time, that oftentimes when we see that we facing 10 felonies, we're gonna take a plea agreement because we think that that's the lesser charge. I mean, that is the lesser charge, but it's like we still setting ourselves up for failures when we take these plea agreements, these plea deals, after all this trouble that we got into, just to clear our name off of some shit, because we may be afraid how it's gonna look on paper, how it's gonna affect us in our future. So we take these plea deals, these plea agreements, and we still get stuck with some bullshit. Some of these misdemeanors are damn near just as bad as still having a felony on your record. and we're young. We don't know that we shouldn't be taking these like plea deals. We just trying to get the fuck up out of trouble. We frustrated. We in and out of jail. Court cases is money. So there you have it. You get stuck with this shit when you 18, 19, 20 years old, and you find yourself in your 30s having to go through expungement. They don't want to tell you how to go through the expungement phase, because if they realize that everybody starts getting their record expunged, then you know it's a chance that we can start off after we've grown with the information that we know now after we got our record expunged. Like example, staying the fuck out of trouble and keeping a good job and being able to excel. They don't want us to know that type of stuff. So Tree is going to explain to y'all like a little bit of the expungement process. I don't know about it. She knows more about it because she's going through it right now, and she's been fortunate enough to basically have her stuff a little bit expedited, the process expedited. So like I find it's hard to with a lot of stuff, it's hard to put an exact percentage on things that are considered like racial disparities, because we just know we get those statistics like blacks are 4 times as much. There's not an exact number that somebody is going to tell us. It's just too high. I think you can't even account for the percentages of racial disparity among black people, white people, white people, and like Hispanics.
More of a deep end, because I feel that the age limit is like 15 to like 17, and then most 16 to 17 African American is like 37% higher than an adult rate. Is charged as adults, so they're already into the adult system. So don't believe that people shouldn't believe that what you do as a teenager don't go with you as an adult, because it definitely does.
It definitely does.
It definitely does. It definitely does follow you. Trust me, I know, I'm a witness.
Yep. Juvenile system is just a precursor for them to be able to judge us before we actually enter in the system. It already gives them a sense of a certain type of statistic that once you have been in the juvenile system, you're probably going to end up in the adult correction system.
Most definitely.
Yep. And we definitely get sentenced at higher levels, higher rates.
Oh yeah, that's facts.
Than anybody.
That's facts. That's definitely facts. Let's see.
So like so what's the process of getting, because I'm pretty sure like a lot of people have the question of or like the process of getting like your record expunged. So like, can you start us off with at least like what did you do first?
Okay, well the first thing that I did was in all honesty is that clearly I committed a crime. I committed more than one crime. Got felonies, got misdemeanors. I had 4 felonies and I had 3 misdemeanors. So basically you have to wait a certain amount of period of time. You have to wait. There's a list, and I will definitely post the list at the end of your live, and at the end of I will definitely post it on my YouTube. The years that it makes that you have to wait for certain things. They have something. It's called the Understanding Indiana's Expungement Law, Indiana Code 35-38-9. Some people have to wait longer because of the offenses of their felonies. For an example, my felony, one of my felonies wouldn't have been able to be expunged until 8 years after I was sentenced for my felony. My earliest felony, I was able to expunge at 6 years. But the reason why I did not get my record expunged with the 6 years and when I could have is because you can only get one expungement in a lifetime. So if you feel that you not ready to grow up, don't apply for an expungement, because you only hurting yourself, because you're only allowed to get one expungement in a lifetime. So anyways, when you go through the 3538-9, that's the Indiana code law. For an example, your first thing you want to do is I went to Expungement Help. Expungement Help is a nonprofit organization that basically looks over all of your paperwork, that looks over everything that you need, basically to let you know, okay, if you have fees, if you have anything that's holding you back, whether you have victims. For an example, I had victims, so they had to reach out to my victims to let my victims know that I was applying for an expungement. So after you sit down and you talk to them, when you sit and you talk to them, they will go over if you qualify. I qualify because I paid all of my fees. To everyone out there that does not have a felony, please do not commit a felony, because I'm telling you right now, over the course of all of my years of my life, I have spent enough money to have bought me a house by now. That's from being incarcerated, that's from commissary, that's from house arrest, that's from work release, that's from just period of just everything that I've had to pay to be able to work towards and getting off of this. That's including, I just had to pay like altogether like $3,000 something all over the course to be able to get my record expunged. That's because I still had unpaid fees, and I had restitution and stuff that I had to pay to be able to get my record expunged. So basically you go and you sit and you talk to them and they tell you if you qualify or not. Well, if you don't qualify, of course they're going to let you know that you don't qualify. But if you do qualify, you go to the next step. And the next step is they will sit there and they will literally write it out for you. They will write out everything that you need for the judge. All you have to do is just sit there and answer yes or no questions. That's it. It takes about 45 minutes. 45 minutes of your life can change your life from you making a bad decision for 5 minutes of your life, for 10 minutes of your life. After they sit there and they write everything up, then you will go down to the courthouse. When you go down to the courthouse, you either can ask for a waiver to be found indigent, so you don't have to pay the $157, or you can just get it over with and just say, you know what, I'm just going to pay the $157. If you do not pay the $157, you're basically going to waste more time, because it takes time for the judge to say, okay, well, you're found indigent. But if you cannot afford the $157, which is understandable because of the times that we are living in right now, then you just pay the $157. Okay, so basically after you do that is a waiting game now. The judge is going to sign off on it, then it goes from the judge, it goes to the prosecutor, it goes to everybody that had an input on your case. After that, it's a waiting game again. After the waiting game, you're basically just waiting for a final decision. Either you're going to get accepted or you're not going to get accepted. There's no reason why you should not get accepted if you've waited the primary time. It tells you on your paperwork that the judge, that no one should be able to be prejudiced against your crime off the fact that you've not been in any trouble. I know some people are like, oh, they can do what they want to do. Yeah, but
I'm sitting here just reading on, like, you know, what can be expunged, and it's like the first thing they said is if you have not been convicted of 2 or more separate felonies involving a deadly weapon. Half the people I know that even got felonies on their records, it's involving a deadly weapon. Whether that deadly weapon is a sharp ass stick, whether it's a gun, whether it's a knife or whatever. So that automatically disqualifies a lot of people from being able to get expunged anyway. And then the requirements that they have is that you have to wait, on some cases 5 years, or some cases 8 years, like up to 8 years. It's like, if from the person I was 5 to 8 years ago, I'm not that same person. So it gets crazy that when you're younger and you create crimes, you got to wait 8 years just to be able to kind of almost have that burden free. It's like I'm a completely different person really after you know, maybe after the first year. So it's like you got to be serious about this stuff. Get on these resources that people tell you about, and like, you know, just get it together. But you got to know what you're dealing with though. It also says that for anybody who has a violent crime or a sex offense, if you got charges pending against you, if you have new convictions on your records, and even if you have everything off your record. If you still have any fines, court costs on any other cases, you are not eligible to get your record expunged. So it's very, the process can be a little tedious, but I believe if you call down to the Marion County Clerk's office, they'll hook you up with the same information to help you get your record expunged also. In these times, they are some, that's not for every company, but I know there are some companies that are paying to prepare all of your paperwork. If you call a lawyer, they're going to easily try to charge you between $250 and about $500, if not more, just to prepare the papers that they need to prepare for you.
That's more than that.
Yeah, it can be more than that, but it just depends on how much you got. But there are organizations out there that are willing to waive those fees, or at least pay those fees and fines for you.
And it's not to discredit nobody that does have felonies or nothing, because like I said, I'm not ashamed of my background. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. I'm not ashamed of my past, because I've learned from my past. It's just to give knowledge and to help to everybody else that's trying to get back on the right foot, or just trying to be able to better themselves, because we are being young and dumb in some ways. Some of us get caught and some of us don't get caught. I'm just trying to, spread awareness that, if the help is there to be able to try to get another life, then a better life, then I would take that advantage, because it's been times when I had my felonies and I had my misdemeanors where I'm like, man, fuck this. I'm just about to just go back to what I know how to do and get money. But, by the grace of God, I had some people, including like LC, going through my struggles where, I was able to depend on it in moments in my life. But it's really when you want to change. It's really when you want to change. My friend can sit here all day and say you gotta change, but you're not gonna truly, honestly change until you want to change. I know a lot of people call me a lame now because the circles that I hang with, but I don't really hang with nobody. I hang with myself because I feel that I know what it took for me to get out that situation. And I was facing 20 years of my life. I was only 22 years old, facing 20 years of my life. So with that being said, my circle was definitely small. I talk to myself in my own circle. But I've learned from my mistakes, and then, like I said, it's not to discredit nobody out there. I don't think that I'm better than nobody. I'm just out here trying to help others be able to succeed and be able to get on the right foot. Because one thing that we don't know is that, and I feel like it's a lot in our black culture too, is that a lot of us are in a situation that we in because we do not know. It's like we do not know. And so here I am, I'm trying to help y'all understand that it is help out there to get your record expunged. Maybe you don't have a felony. Maybe you know somebody that got a felony that needs this. Maybe you know somebody that got a misdemeanor. Because I'm letting you know right now, it's jobs out here that's paying people. If people don't realize is that we are damn near living. They're not calling it a recession, but we damn near living in a recession right now. And there's jobs out here that's paying people $15, $16, $17 an hour. I'm sorry, but if you're not making $22 an hour, and you live on your own and you got kids or however it may be, I really don't see how you surviving out here if you ain't got more than one job. So this felony right here, what jobs can offer you that because you got that on your record. But what jobs gonna do when you don't got no felony and you got the knowledge and you got the GED or you got the high school diploma? Jobs gotta offer you. Jobs gotta come at you correctly and offer you $23, $24, $25, $26 an hour and not work you like a slave. So like I said, this is definitely something that I want people to understand that I did it. And I cried when I got my record expunged because I felt like it was the start of my new life. And like I said, don't nobody really understand what it really took to be able to get my record expunged. And it was like a new day for me, a new journey for me. And a lot of people know me as Tree, but I finally feel like Triana. I finally feel like that I'm Triana now because Tree was the lost soul. Now Triana is the mature person that's trying to grow up, that's trying to be better, that's trying to better myself, because not only do I have my life, but I got kids that's looking up to me, that's watching everything that I do. So with that being said, I can't teach them, you make a mistake, then, keep going. Dust yourself off if I made a mistake. So me getting my expungement, my boys was more happy for me than I was happy for myself. and that meant a lot to me. And to see them bringing home A's and B's and stuff, that motivates them, especially when they don't have male figures in their life, and they see a woman doing it. So at that, you know, it makes me happy because we gotta help each other. It starts with us, and if y'all know something and we not understanding, because a man once told me this: you put something in a book, you'll never know. You put something on TV, everybody will know.
Absolutely.
But the thing is that they lie to us on this TV, they lie to us on this YouTube, they lie to us on so much stuff, and the stuff that we have. How I found out my information, it wasn't on social media. It was on paper. Mm-hmm. It was on paper. It was on paper, man. Like, that's so powerful. How I learned out what I'm teaching y'all and what I'm trying to tell y'all, it was on, honestly, it was on paper. Mm-hmm. Who the fuck really walks by and picks up a paper? No one does that these days, because we feel like you can just Google it or YouTube it or whatever. Mm-hmm. And when you Google this stuff, it's not even on Google. You gotta literally pick the paper up. So just pick up something, man, and just realize that, like, it's the help is there, and we gotta help each other, man. And that's